Okay, welcome again to an episode on my channel. Thank you for being here. Today I'm joined by one of the guys who has not only mentored me in marketing, he's mentored me in basketball, which I went on to do some pretty cool things with. And he's also my first ever coach at 15 years old. I met this man. He closed me. He actually closed me on his 5-day basketball camp, which then was called B2B basketball. He closed a little 15-year-old after practice. That just goes to show this man's all about conversion, okay?
It's just talent scouting.
Welcome, Renaldo Edmondson, to the forum. Right, listen, Renaldo, thank you for being here. First of all, thank you so much. Please introduce yourself. You know, I always believe that people can introduce themselves much better than I could ever do justice. So go ahead.
I don't know. I've got to compete with it now. Hey guys, you know, and thanks a lot for viewing this session with Aaron. My name is Renaldo Edmondson. I'm a Facebook advertising expert. Come from a basketball background, or competitive sports background. As being part of that background, you're always trying to shop through how you do things a little bit different, how you get sort of a competitive edge on things. From doing web design for a while, you realize that, well, websites by themselves don't make any money, and you start finding that clients don't like the fact they're not making any money, so you naturally start looking and shopping for ways to do so. I thought SEO was the holy grail of marketing. Kind of realized that wasn't the case. Took a trip to Silicon Valley for something completely different, but started to understand that, oh, it's about marketing, direct response, getting people to do
Whoa, slow down. Yeah. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that good stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let me pull that out at the appropriate time. All right, so let's talk about, first of all, the beginning. So you mentioned it. Look, cool. I don't want you to just spin over the top overlook of it. I want you to actually go a bit more in depth.
For sure.
So look, first of all, professional basketball athlete.
Sure.
Coincidentally, I'm not sure if I've told you this. I must have told you. Tell me. So when I was in a junior college in America, I had one of my games, and we're warming up. And obviously, when you're out there in the States, if you're from a foreign country, you know, people take notice because it's something different to all these thousands of athletes in America. And the coach came up to me before the game of the opposing team, and he says, "Oh, are you the guy from England?" And I was like, "Yep, that's me." And he was like, "Do you know a guy called Renaldo?" I was like, "Know him." The guy's just been training me for the last couple of years. And it just so happens that that was your junior college coach.
Coach John Cooksey, man, really good
crazy
guy.
So talk to me about the development from, you know, young kid to basketball ambition to going over to the States at a time when people weren't going to the States. Look, this isn't just about business. I know I'm wearing my good shirt today, but it's not just about business. Let's talk about your story, because there's more value in life than there will ever be just put into the business context. So go for it.
Okay, cool. So I'll probably start with how I started on, how I ended up in basketball, which is rare in the UK.
Tell me.
My brother was a good footballer. He played, at the time he was going to Washford Leaf School when Lee Hendry was there from Aston Villa, and obviously England, you know, became an England player as well. And I just felt like I was living in his shadow. Like I was okay.
Big brother.
Yeah, big brother. So I was 6 years older than me. I was okay at football, but I just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And one time I saw this guy bouncing a basketball. I was like, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to play for Birmingham. I don't know. I had no idea how I was going to do that, you know, how the route there. But I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that thing over there, because I just wanted something of my own.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that came from an even earlier sort of place where me and my brother used to be big gamers.
Yeah.
And so we used to compete on games so much, and I hated the idea of doing something that he was doing. Always wanted my own lane.
Sure.
And so if he would play a character in Street Fighter, if he was going to be Ken, I was Ryu. And I would only be Ryu. I wouldn't even touch Ken. Or if it were playing Virtua Fighter or any of these kind of games, I'd pick a character. Whoever he picked, it was a rule that I would never play with that person.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, because I just wanted to always be my own. And I think that was like an origin story towards this obsession for originality. And so that is where basketball came from. It was an original journey because I always wanted to be original, independent of my brother, who I always revered and respected. So when one day I picked up a basketball, started to just dribble in front of my garden, dribbling through my legs.
Yeah.
And I got really good at it. And that was all I could do. I couldn't shoot, never had a hoop to shoot in, anything like that. And I remember when it was year 7 in school, the Birmingham Bullets would come to your school, as you know the drill.
Yeah.
They come, they do the little coaching and stuff like that. And they had some session on where they said it's open to all kids to just come down. I thought, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to play for Birmingham. The thing, I had no idea who I was going to play for, but it's opened up.
Yeah, right.
So I went down with a bunch of my friends. My friends were average, I was average. We all done a few things the same way, sort of thing. But one thing I could do really well was dribble the ball from my legs.
Sure.
And so the coach goes through all these different drills, and he was the Birmingham coach at the time. His name was Steve Ellis. He's a referee, as you know now.
Okay, yeah.
But he was a Birmingham Bullets coach, and he said, okay, next drill, I'm gonna, do all the round the back, the round the head, and whatever else. Next one, I need you to do the through the legs. I was like,
got it.
And I was like, boom, boom, the back. And everyone was like, ooh. And the coach was like, would you be interested in coming to a tryout for Birmingham? I was like,
massive.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he says, and your friends could come too. And I was like, oh, freak's sake.
Oh, shit. I'm not that special yet.
I thought it was exclusive, and it just wasn't like that. So we ended up going to the session. That was when I really got my mind absolutely blown. Didn't know there was kids that existed who could shoot 3-pointers.
Oh, wow.
This was Michael Gale in his earliest, unbelievable, one of the best young kid players I've ever seen in my life, and everybody will.
Is he your generation?
He's my generation.
He's your age?
He's a year below.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, we found out he was a year below us.
You're like,
I was like, oh my God. And then there was Dan Jackson, who was like probably one of the #1 guys at the time.
Yeah.
And so you had all these superstar players that I never knew existed. There was a Chinese kid I was defending him. I ran behind, he comes onto the hoop, I ran behind, he comes with this Michael Jordan air reverse.
Shit.
And I was like, people can do this in year 8, year 7.
Yeah.
And then that was when and that was probably when I started to get kind of obsessed. But we never had the gym open, we never had a coach that was all pro basketball. He was just like, you like playing basketball, fine. Then Steve Ellis, the coach for Birmingham, moves to our school.
Oh wow, and uses the gym.
And he opens up the gym.
Okay.
And he gave us the rules. You want to be a good basketball player, you got to shoot 300 shots a day.
Yeah.
What did I do? Every morning at school, shooting. Every day after school, going to the park, shoot. Went from, by year 9 when he moved to the school, by year 10 I was playing for England before even being able to start for Birmingham, before being able to make a game for the squad for Birmingham.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was the same growth that you went through.
Yeah.
That. Okay, kind of familiar. You came to the camp, kind of familiar with basketball a little bit. Seems good. Jump on with Steve Barnes. Get this intense training of this is how you are. I'm a big man. You're going to be a big man. This is how you move your feet. This is how you do this. Yeah. And this intensity took you from within 1 year pretty much being the best player on your team. And then you move from being the best player on your team to being one of the best players in your region, etc., etc. In virtually no time because you know the rules.
It's unbelievable, and I'll second that with shout out Steve Barnes. There you have it. We plugged you, Coach B. We plugged you on the channel. But nah, you're absolutely right. What he did was he focused on pure high grossing skills.
Yes.
Can you shoot a baby hook?
Yes.
I was one of the only guys who could really hit that baby hook and never get blocked.
People didn't do it.
That was a fundamental
separation.
Right, exactly.
Space and separation.
Exactly, and that was my only shot I could score.
That's right.
But I mastered it, and then I built from that all through his guidance, and that's so talk to me about this. I know we'll circle back to the basketball journey where we just left it, but so how important, obviously has sport being in your development of mastering skills? I mean, what is the emphasis, and have you carried that over into the business arena?
Good question. So it's the competitive nature for sure. That's one of the biggest ones, which is sports comes with universal rules of what works and what doesn't work, and it also comes with universal rules that failing is a big part of success. You cannot succeed unless you fail. So in basketball, obviously, it's the next shot mentality. Oh, I missed one, next shot. I missed one, next shot. Lost the game, next game. And if you can't understand that mentality, you know the rules, you don't really progress as an athlete, you don't really progress as a player, and you realize it more when you go to a place like the States, where everything is about trying to break you mentally and trying to challenge how good you really are, how much you can sustain or withhold and stuff like that. So I think that alone was the rules I started to see in business as well. If you have to succeed in basketball like that, then surely in business it's kind of the same. If you lose a deal, if you don't get something, if you don't know anything, find the best. If you're not around the best, or if you're not learning from the best, you're probably going to end up average. In basketball, it's the same. If I ain't got a good team around me, or if I'm not going to play around guys who got a real serious game, as soon as I do play against guys with serious game, I'm going to struggle. So these kind of similarities started to pop up, and I started to just draw loads of comparisons. And as you saw one, it gave you comfort that, oh, I'm in that same place as I was with ball. Yeah, that's how that's going to be. Oh my gosh, I've just lost money, don't have any money, don't know where I'm going to find my next 2 pennies. Oh gosh, I know this is the time where you just have to grind and just with your teeth and be okay. Because you just got to go through. Because you know, just like if you're injured or whatever else, or someone's just busting your ass, or whatever it may be, those are the rules. So the rules allowed me to be able to settle into every challenge that business brought, because the game, I understood over time, was about being able to just see it through to the other side. The only thing that someone can really take away from you is your life and your freedom. And even freedom's still perceptive. If I go to prison, do I still have freedom to think? Do I have freedom to write stuff down or whatever? So there is still an element of being able to do. So because you can always do, no one can really take it away from you unless someone takes your life. So therefore, with anything that you're trying to accomplish, you just have to see it through to the end. And you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and figure out how uncomfortable you're willing to be. Some people, that's just, you know what, a late payment of rent. Some people is coming down on a lifestyle. Other people is, you know what, I've got barely any clothes on my back, but I'm still in the game, so I can just keep going. It's that. Resilience. It's figuring that out, because that's how it was with ball. Why did you stop? Why did I stop? It stopped making sense after a while, because it started to conflict with your overall ambition in life. Hey, you know what, I'm going to build a family. I want some certain stability, I want to have a certain amount of money. I know this right now, if I see this through to the end, it's going to actually see me at my 30-something age, where I'm not going to have the money and all the opportunities that I would like to, according to the ambition of where I'm going. So it doesn't make sense anymore, I'm out. And that was the same thing for me. It was like, oh, you know what, this doesn't make sense for me anymore, because seeing this through to the end and the commitment I've got to make means I have to pass off on these things over here. These things over here are going to be more important than this. So this now becomes recreational. These now become pro, and I'll do these things as a pro, and this now recreational.
Exactly. So now do you see why I pay this man money to coach me? You just get lost in the sauce sometimes. It's like, yeah, you're so right. You know what I mean? And you know, let's talk about something I want to, you know, draw upon.
Sure.
And you know what, right now, man, you know, the thing I love about what we're doing right here is we are literally making history. Bro, when we upload this, whenever that happens, and we circle back to this in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years from now,
it's forever.
My great grandchild might be able to, well, should be able to watch this.
Yeah, it's forever, bro.
That's dangerous. That's incredible. The knowledge we can try and pass. So that was my journey as well. So obviously you coached me. I got passed off to a coach who gave me that attention I needed. I went to America, came back, went to uni, got my degree from the UK after that. Then I graduate, got a job, 3 months go by, can't hack it, have to leave, need to start my own thing. That there was just something bigger than me that needed to be fulfilled.
For sure.
And it was causing massive tension in my life, not being able to express all the ideas and have the impact, and also the earnings that I felt I deserved as a human being capable of what I feel I'm capable of. And then that's when I come across you again,
LinkedIn.
Right? So then I'm there on, you know, hustling. 3 months I've been trying to sign deals, do business. You know, it's not easy when you're just trying to sit there on the laptop, social media marketing. Okay, what services? Oh, let me fill out 3 applications for business so I can see how they prospect me. Let me get into their funnel so I can see how they do this. And then you're writing down. But the thing that I never realized back then, which I know for a fact now, is that when you're trying to do this funnel hacking mindset type stuff, you will never see 70% of the funnel, because if it's done the right way, it's based on your behavior, right? And if you're behaving and using certain, you know, options in that funnel, whether you click a link in an email, you don't click an email, you open an email, you sign up to a webinar, whatever it is, there's a sequence built for what what happens if you did or you didn't do the opposite action.
Yeah, it's that. Here's what you see. Here's what's going on.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. I was trying to do, funnel hacks, trying to just get as much free value as I could, struggling my ass off, made probably 2 or 3 sales. 2 of them were with friends. One of them was,
Blacksmith, right? Is that right? That's
yeah, Jimmy Chats, man, my boy. And this is and he'll watch this. That's how good a friend he is.
Yeah.
He'll watch this shit straight away.
Yeah.
Especially now he's got a plug in it. Cypher Locksmiths. You need a locksmith. Birmingham. Cypher Locksmiths. Call up Jimmy Chataway. And I remember phoning him up and saying, I've quit my job. I've moved back to the Midlands. And he's like, so what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to start a social media marketing agency. He goes, oh, I need that. How much does it cost? I was like, I'm not sure. 300 quid. Yeah. All right, done. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's shoot some videos. Yeah. And you can actually see those videos on the Social Agenda's channel. They're still pretty shit hot videos. Anyway, nice. To the point, that's when I reached out to Renaldo. I must have saw him on LinkedIn.
I checked you. Yeah, no, so I saw you. Yeah. You popped up and it says, digital marketer.
Yeah.
And I said,
no.
Marketer. I said, oh my gosh, you're digital. No way.
No, it's because I changed my headline. I changed my headline on LinkedIn, and I said, and I say this to all the new consultants who have helped, to date. Yeah. You have to say who you want to be before you can become it. Yeah. Nobody wants to work with somebody who isn't confident, who isn't trying to really move forward. So I must have wrote something like digital marketing expert. By the way, I did do a 12,000 word dissertation on digital marketing. So I was kind of credible.
No, you were sharp.
Anyway,
I knew that from the.
So so that's what I saw Renaldo. Renaldo says, oh look, I see that you're doing this stuff. I've been doing this and this for a while. Probably help you out. And then that's where I started to really understand. Wow, Renaldo's been doing all of this stuff. And I've just been so busy, I haven't noticed any of it.
Or maybe my content was just crap because I just went.
Or his content strategy was weak. But that comes as well, that comes to, look, you've got to focus your attention on what's working.
Yeah, for sure.
That wasn't what you were doing, whatever. Yeah. So, Renaldo comes to me and he says, it's similar to when I was 15 in that little changing room in City of Birmingham basketball. Yeah. Oh, do you want to do this camp? Yeah. Aaron, you probably need some coaching. Yeah. So I'm there saying, yeah, I probably do. Yeah. Phoning Renaldo 3 times a week. He's like, if you need any advice, just give me a call. Yeah. Renaldo, but what do I do here? Da 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 da. All right, see you later. Yeah. 2 days later, Renaldo. Da da da. The 3rd time I called him, no answer. Texted Renaldo. Deadline. I'm like, okay, Renaldo, how much does it cost? 3 days of intensive one-to-one coaching. Yeah. And to give you a perspective of where I was, so Renaldo, when I say Renaldo is one of my first mentors in this game, he genuinely was the first. 3 days of coaching. Aaron, this is how much it costs. Renaldo, I don't have that much, but I have this much. Yeah. What you didn't know at the time was that was my last. That was my last much. Yeah. It wasn't even my last much. It was the credit card last much.
That's right.
But I knew, not only from my own experience in basketball and coaching and being mentored by loads of people, I knew for a fact that you started a journey in a chain reaction of things that happened when I was 15 all the way to 19, and you were constantly there, whether it was as a ref, as a coach, as a tournament, whatever it was, you were always there in the basketball scene. So I knew for a fact, if that's the return on investment that I can get from that period of time, bang, let me just throw it all here, because I had ultimate faith in you. And bro, look where we are today, and it's been an incredible journey. So first of all, thank you for that.
No.
Second of all, talk to me about what you've learned from your journey, and what are the most important skills, from a business point of view to succeeding. You touched on a few of them, resiliency, but those are drawing on your personal, your personal experience. But what about, objectively, if somebody comes up to you today, and which they do obviously, and they ask you, look, Renaldo, I don't have much skill. Yeah. I don't know much about much. I've worked a job for 4 years. I don't know what to do, but I know there's a lot to do. I've got too many choices. Yeah. First of all, what do I do?
Yeah. So there's 2 Renaldos you have to ask this question to. The Renaldo today would be, the first point would be figure out your lane and who you are. The Renaldo yesterday would say, you've got to try and get really good at solving at least one problem that people will see value in paying you to solve. Now, I think that's a far more immature response than the mature response that I think I can give today, which is human beings are created very uniquely, and I didn't know this until recently. And you realize this because there are smart psychologists out there that figure out, oh wow, people make decisions based on certain constructs. People make decisions based on how they feel, how other people feel, how they think based on logic, how other people think, how things are. People make decisions based on these two things and have been doing it since birth and childhood. So given that people make decisions this way, there are businesses that are going to suit people who make decisions this particular way.
Yeah.
Also, people learn a particular way. Me and you, and it starts making sense now, me and you learn from doing loads of things wide because we draw comparisons and it makes us understand the specific thing that we're now doing in the middle better. So if I go to basketball and I see all these universal principles in basketball, when I'm starting to do this thing with business, I immediately can draw and see how these two are related to the point where I understand business better now. And if you were to go into a completely different field and study something completely different, you could study cryptocurrency, you could study finance, anything else, doesn't matter what it is, it would make you now understand marketing better, even though it's completely unrelated. And it's because how we learn is by exploration of patterns, and we start to draw patterns. Other people learn by sensory things, just like being in the moment and starting to understand, well, the facts are here and I just need to repetitively do this thing. That's why there's ball players that we both played with, they were just unreal and they could just keep going and they were always right in the moment and they never got shook. I mean, we never understood why, but there are certain people that they learn that specific way.
So how do they do that? So how do you find out who you are, what your lane is?
So this is a principle called Myers-Briggs, right? So Myers-Briggs is the kind of, or MBTI is kind of the gold standard of psychology, particularly to try and not categorize, but to help people understand how they prefer to learn. Because it's not you are a thing, you aren't a thing. It's nothing to do with that. It's how do you learn best, and how do you according to how you prefer to learn. How do you decide best according to how you prefer to decide. Natural flow or natural state is something that we do where we don't feel it. So you're in your lane right now with this. You don't feel any tiredness right now. I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and we could just keep going. But there's another person out there that are going to get tired from doing this. They can do it, but they're going to get tired. So it's not natural. Anything that's natural flows nicely and you don't feel it. So when you're learning or when you're making decisions, if the decisions come so easy, and if the learning comes so effortlessly, you know you're in the right lane. And so as a child, you're going to get feedback. And when you get that feedback, you naturally are going to start doing it more, just like if I'm left-handed or right-handed. I pick this up, I'm successful with my right, I'm unsuccessful with my left. I just keep doing it with my right, and eventually it gets so easy to the point where I can just keep doing it. Can a right-handed person become left-handed overnight? Of course they can. But you probably need to cut the right hand off, and that trauma is going to make them use their left hand. But by choice, I keep using my right because of preference. Well, that's then how we learn. So to kind of circle that back to your point, that's now how I understand that the first thing a human being needs to do is figure out how do they make decisions and how do they learn. Go to something like 16personalities.com. I'm no promoter of them, but you know, I just appreciate what
I'll have an affiliate link in the description.
Maybe you should have an affiliate. Exactly. Go to something like 16personalities.com, figure out you, and they'll draw comparisons with you and everybody else and explain who you are. And you're either going to say, yeah, that's me, or no, that's not me, which is fine. And based on that, you'll start figuring out immediately what kind of work is best going to suit you. Once you're there, now the next part becomes just playing the game, how you're going to play the game. The game is won by skill and audacity. Two things. If you're skillful and you're audacious...
So hold on, so right now we know who we are, so I'm an ENTP.
ENTP, same as me, which is why we flow.
I actually did mine with, not just online, I was fortunate enough there, my partner Holly's sister-in-law.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, but she's Holly's older brother's partner. When we were in Australia, she's actually certified Myers-Briggs.
Oh my God.
So we didn't do it online. She literally had the photos and she was dishing them out.
Broke you down, man. Wow.
And that's what she told me all that time ago, and it makes absolute sense. And Holly had something very similar, but not exactly the same.
ENTJ.
No, I can't remember. That's me being a
She seems like an ENTJ.
Who knows? Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, she's definitely an E. Yeah. That's what I'm sure. Yeah. Or on E. But anyway, so yeah, I do believe in that as well. So now that we found out who we are as individuals, or we have a deeper understanding of who we are, how we learn. Yeah. So now audacity, and what was the other one?
Audacity and skill.
Skill.
Right? So
keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Abby, we spoke to Abby on a different episode. He said something around what Dan Locke was proposing, which was you have to become highly skilled in one thing and use that one thing to add massive value to the market to a certain point. How would you describe it?
Okay, so skill has a combination of things that people don't realize that it does. So the one obvious thing is I need skill to be able to justify whatever I want to charge, right? So I can add some value in a market or whatever else. There's a second thing that skill does. It allows you to become very humble in everything else, because you're like, okay, I'm good at this, and I've spent so much time to get good at this that I respect that how much time is required to be good at one thing, so I can now accept that I'm not good at the other things. So now I get humble. Wow. And now I become humble. I'm in a position now where I can figure out how to find and recruit and work with the right people that can complement my skills.
That is
so skill.
Wait, that is a big point right there, because one of the fundamental flaws that I see, a lot of people go through is knowing when and what they should be doing.
That's right.
And
that's right.
We're all very ignorant, and this is from my own experience, when sometimes we just take on all of it because we think we can do it to a good standard, and we don't collaborate with the right people early enough.
That's right. And a lot of the time it's because we are sort of apprehensive, or we're afraid to fail, or afraid to believe that we're not good at that thing. And usually it's just because we haven't gone and ventured into the depth of the skill of what we're trying to be good at in the first place. But when you venture into the depth, you realize how deep it is, that it hits you logically that I can't be good at everything else. So now, because I've done that, oh snap, you know what? I need this person to do this, and this, and I'm very okay with it. And so you've got that, and so it comes with so many byproducts in investing in skill, away from the thing that everybody thinks on the surface level, which is, oh, I need to be skillful to be able to stand out. No, you need to be audacious to be able to stand out. Skillful won't allow you to stand out. It will allow you to execute with excellence.
So talk about the audacity. What is this? Because that's a very interesting word to use. The audaciousness to what? To say to somebody, I am who I say I am.
I am who I say I am. I can do what I say I do. I can do it better than the other options that you're thinking about going with. Because the truth is, I don't want you to go with them. I want you to come with me. So if I want you to come with me, I have to believe that I can do what I'm saying I can do with you. Now, some people do this in the opposite way around. They go audacity first, skill second. But what happens is the chickens come home to roost eventually, and the game is up. Everybody will be exposed eventually, because you have to execute as part of that relationship. So that two-tone relationship of, I need to be able to say I can do what I say I do and deliver on it. I think it's best to hone the skill first, and then be able to say it, the audacity, and believe and do it as loud as you're willing to do. So cool. like what you're doing with what you're doing. That's why you will, I like to think, God willing, be able to occupy a massive stage one day as a person that is known for what you do, as a very excellent digital marketer and a very excellent consultant in what you're doing, because you're willing to tell everybody.
I appreciate that. Now so look, we know how we learn. We know that we need to learn a skill very well, so that we can also have a realization that, look, I need all these other skills from other people. Great. We have the audacity to say, I am the man. You will sign with me. I've got the big cojones to put it on the line, and I might fail. So might the 1,000 other people trying to do business with you. Who gives a damn? We are passionate. We want to do it. You've done all those things. Coming back to point 2, what's the quickest way to learn a skill? And regardless of personality, what would you say is, I mean, what's the power of, obviously I'm a big, and I know you are as well, a big proponent of coaches and mentors. I've leveraged all of your mistakes for my own personal gain, very selfishly, and I've paid for that privilege.
Intelligently as well.
Right? But in your opinion, what's the quickest way to learn? Is it, I'll leave the floor to you, go ahead.
Quickest way to learn, in my opinion and through my experience, is is by how you've done it, combined with immersion, which is what you've done. Immerse yourself in as many different experiences within the thing that you're trying to learn. So it depends, first of all, what you're trying to learn. Are you trying to just be an entrepreneur? If you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you only need to know enough about the specific industry that you're doing it in, and then you need to align with, be skilled in aligning with and recruiting the people and creating operations and processes and systems that are going to allow you to build a business, then another one, then another one, then another one. Entrepreneurship itself is its own skill. That's a byproduct if you're doing it, if you're trying to do a business where you're asking for money from people, you naturally become the elements of an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, but the elements of an entrepreneur. But if you want to come in the game as an entrepreneur, then you need to learn the skill of an entrepreneur, which is usually going to be through learning how that works and how you're gonna. What's the best way to learn how that works? To your question, going to people and paying them to teach you. This is the obvious way.
What type of people? Any people who are doing it well, people who appear to be doing it well. How do you find the right person to learn from?
This is a really interesting question, bro. Like,
it's not an easy question, by the way.
No.
Bro, I wouldn't ask you on a normal day. But this is not a normal day.
Because, for example, right, you come to me. I'm not making millions when you come to me, and there's people out there who are making millions that are actually not right for what you needed at the time and what I gave you. Right? Yet the perception is making millions mean the right person to go to, and not necessarily is everybody a teacher. No, everyone's not a freaking teacher. You know the rules of teaching. To be a good teacher is its own skill. So am I gonna go to somebody who's actually really good at teaching? Do I go to somebody who's actually done really well and made the money? Because if I'm going to someone who's made the money, I'm probably best just watching what they do and investing in some mentorship where they say, do this, do that, do this, just do as I do. Because I'm not going to tell you how to do, because I'm not good at telling you how to do, because I'm not a bloody teacher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Coach.
Whereas a coach is an expert in empathy. They are trying to look and map and mirror all your tendencies and habits. So when you came to see me, I recognized immediately, you are very audacious and you're ready to go. So I got to try and steer you and coach according to your actual strengths.
Exactly.
That in and of itself is something that's unique, and it would have come from me coaching basketball. Had I not coached basketball, I probably wouldn't have done anywhere near of a decent job. You know what I mean? In trying to hone and harness your best talents and skills. So who do you look for? You look for somebody according to what you're trying to accomplish. Do you want to be a look-see-do? Do you want to look, see and do what someone else does, and you don't want to break stuff and recreate stuff? You just want to go and do what you know works. Well, that's a mentorship play. Go with somebody who can just mentor you, and they'll say, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and blah blah blah. Do you want to be an artist or an expert that actually builds something from nothing and re-engineers things or solves problems in a very particular way and gets paid to solve those problems? Then you're gonna need a coach, somebody who can break you down and look at the philosophy of what you're trying to do and help you recreate ways of doing things and teach you how to do things. Exactly, you know what I mean? So it really comes down to what you're actually looking for. Because I think there's two types of people. Some people, and you're from my sort of school, which is you'd like to break things and come up with philosophies that make you unique, because you want separation from everyone else. I want separation from everyone else. But it comes down to this as well, doesn't it? It comes down to, why are we doing what we do? Is it out of too much audacious tendencies and the audacity to say, F this, I've got no experience in this industry, I don't have a damn contract or certificate to my name to prove that I can do what I can do, and I'm leaving this job, which is the only form of income I've got, only to find yourself 3 months down the line pestering Ronaldo, saying, Ronaldo, drag me out of this hole, right? Why do you do what you do? Freedom for me, and I think it was freedom. And is that something to do with your personality type? Would you think? Is it more so about you want freedom, or more so about you can't be told what to do? And I'd love to see if one of Ronaldo's old coaches, basketball coaches, was watching. Drop a comment if you have ever coached Ronaldo or worked with him. It'd be very interesting to know your opinions. Is Ronaldo all about the freedom, or you just can't tell this guy to go in a direction he doesn't want to go in? So I think
it's a joke.
No. You're no.
But definitely comment if you are watching.
It's a great point. No, I mean.
But that's my observation of you.
No, because
it's an advantage.
It's an advantage. It's an advantage if you know how to respond to it, right? It's a major disadvantage if you don't know how to respond to it.
Well, the truth is, I'm probably just talking about myself.
Reflection.
I'm just reflecting what I believe about myself onto you because we've got such similar personalities.
You're a total reflection. Like there's so many similarities between the two.
But sure, go ahead. Why? Sure. So the freedom. Talk to me about that.
Okay, so all right, freedom in a sense that whether it's faith, whether it's what you want to do, whether it's who you want to be with, whether it's where you want to be.
Wow.
Do you believe you can do it on your dime if you can control everything? And that was where I was at, because with what basketball taught was that you could break through and accomplish things that you never thought you could. So that was reinforced very early, like from going to that first basketball session and seeing all them kids and thinking to myself, there is no way in hell I'm going to be anywhere near even remotely as good as these kids.
Yeah.
And when you're 12 years old, that is a reality. Anybody who tells you, oh yeah, you kind of know that, now you don't know a damn thing. You look and you think, no way. But then you grow to the point where you are the leader and amongst the best, to a point where you're one of the best in that constituency, and now in your city area, and now playing at one of the higher levels, and you go into America to play where all the chips are stacked against you and stuff. You've already been taught the reality that, nothing's set in stone and everything is fluid. So because that fluidity has already came, intentionally or unintentionally, you start realizing that, it's possible to live a free life, to do as you please, and actually accomplish things on your dime as you want to do them. So that, for me as a default, put me in the mind where I did it for me, for freedom, because I recognized that doing things and everyone else wants me to, it wasn't making me happy. It didn't make me
fulfillment.
There's no fulfillment. Like I was a mentor at school at 20 years old. Phenomenal accomplishment. And these are when the word mentor, as it was in secondary education, you're just a teacher and a sir, or a miss, just like anybody else. Yeah. And everyone else is all older than you. But you got people hiring me to do this as a 20-year-old kid. As I see it now, and then I got another job when I was 21, a different mentoring role, and another one at 22. And you're supposed to stay in a school for a number of years and grow with the kids. And I realized that I just didn't want to do it. I almost enjoyed the thrill of being able to sit in an interview and obliterate an interview because I know I was smart, versus actually doing and seeing stuff through afterwards. And that's where I started to be the best basketball. I thought, you know what? I got to do this for myself and just do it differently, and that's what I did. I went to Prince's Trust, I got some help and went from there.
Shout out the Prince's Trust.
Yeah.
I've also had some help from them. Yeah. Very good backup for anyone who's starting their journey.
100%,
sure.
Man, 100%.
Now let's talk about the big news, and if this is all right,
Sure,
right. I don't want to announce stuff that was taught.
No, man, it's cool.
Obviously, I'm on Ronaldo's inner circle, you know what I'm saying. But
cool,
so you're heading off and migrating your entire family. So not just yourself. It's not like me packing my bags and just flying out, lone soldier. Maybe you got one person who's with me. You've got some beautiful kids and a wife who you're taking out there, and you are redefining your life in a foreign country where English isn't the first language. Say no more. English ain't the first language, you know what I'm saying? The culture is completely different, for better or for worse. The economy is completely different.
For sure.
The schooling system, everything is going to be new and unique. And being the leader that you are, by no doubt, this has emerged out of not your children needing to go, but your thoughts and your philosophy about the freedom, about where you want to live and where you should live. So please explain to me, and I know you already have, but talk to me about why a man like you would want to go and do that. Migrate to Spain.
So I've grown to see life as just a fluid opportunity. It's a constant fluid opportunity. So Spain just becomes the next opportunity. It doesn't become the last one, it just becomes the next one. And I look into all of the benefits that come with that journey. So the advantage is that I've tried it before, and I tried it before I had kids, and I fell flat on my face the first time. Absolutely flat on my face. Thought, oh yeah, I can do web design. I can do web design. Build websites, cool. I'm gonna cart my big, massive PC tower in the bag, get hung up at the airport for overweight. Didn't have any money because I flopped an event the day before that I thought was gonna fund me to be able to go. Had to call my mum, have her pay the thing right at the airport, and my plane was going to be in about half an hour, and there was a queue through the door, and I had to run to the airport. I didn't get time to put my belt on properly, so I'm running, my trousers falling down on this big, bro, everything.
Oh my God.
all of these things.
Sounds awful.
Just to get there, just to get there to be with, with my wife and, my love and all that, and all that stuff. And to get there and to see if I could do this thing abroad. And I realized the first time, oh my gosh, you can't take what you're doing in the UK and just take it to Spain and just earn UK money in Spain and think you're just clients. It didn't work. So I realized that, okay, it didn't work that time. Went back, tried to do it again differently. Thought, okay, I'll get clients in the UK, but this time if they're gonna pay me £2,500 for a contract, I'll say, can you pay me £500 a month over 5 months, over 6 months, or over that period? So that means when I'm out there, it gives me a buffer period to learn the language. So by the time I've learned the language, I can get local business and trade over there. That was the theory at the time. The second time round didn't really work that way either, and also.
So you've tried to do this twice already.
Tried to do this twice
with the family or with that?
Without the family.
So you've already failed. So you've already failed twice. On your own.
Yeah.
With no codependence.
That's right.
To move and migrate to Spain, and you flew back. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. So what makes you think
you're going to do it the third time?
That you're going to do it the third time?
Yeah.
What is it that's in your mind? Audacity.
The audacity to believe.
All right, why do you want to be there? Why do you want to be there?
So
or is it not even about being there? It's just not about being here. What is it?
So again, it's the next spot. So there were two things I got from being there twice before. Was that feels like home. That's where we want to be.
Really? Okay.
100%.
You love it.
Right. Absolutely love it.
What do you love about it?
Elements, first of all. You can empathize with this because you live in an area where you're kind of connected to the elements a little bit. You take your dog out, you walk, and you see it's very different to very intense city life. People argue, why don't you do that in the UK? I believe the UK culture is very introverted, which is fine. Not a problem for many. But for me, I like the extroverted vibe, to be able to bounce off people that very communal, family orientated, go out and I enjoy that. And I enjoy having the climate, the temperature that can complement that, because then I'm not a man who goes out and drink. I'm not a man who goes out and clubs. I'm not a person that goes out and does frivolous things that I may consider as frivolity sometimes, or to do things just for the sake of doing it. Or I don't want to always go to the cinema and go bowling and stuff like that. So I think the options to be social in the UK are quite limited, when I can just, in Spain, get up, walk down the road, sit on a beachfront or whatever else, and just enjoy an evening and continue to do that anytime I want. So that alone was a big part of just the daily social lifestyle that uplifts your spirit. And when your spirit's on that high, why do you go away sometimes to get a break, to recharge, so you can when you're back in your zone, you can stay in your zone?
Go next week.
Or
the week after.
Yeah. So when you're doing something like that, you literally stay in the zone of inspiration, which is great for me. I think the other part, the why do I think I can do it this time around, considering I messed up the other two times, is because I understood that you have to make money outside of an economy. If you want to be a person that truly can live free, you cannot be dependent on the immediate economy that you live in. You have to have a service, an offering, something that can surpass or transcend the economy that you're trying to operate within. When you can do that, the whole world just becomes your landscape, or becomes a ground that you can be in. And so I found that, with Spain before, my issues were I was bound to a particular place where I had to, or was compelled to, make money from. Now, our clients are in the States, our clients are in the UK, our clients are wherever, because I've understood now, we have a service offering that is appealing and applicable worldwide enough for me to move our family somewhere where they can eat the same as they're eating in the UK with no drama and no issues.
Could you have ever done that 20 years ago in the world the way it was?
No, I don't think so. No way.
So this is all about technology advancing, that you can do this.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
that's
cool.
right. We were very fortunate to be born in this time. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, cool. Last one, man. Let's wrap this up on a high.
Sure.
What are some of the, or one of the high points of your business journey, whether in the beginning, the end, wherever it was? Hopefully it's this. But what was, one of those times where you had a breakthrough and you thought to yourself, you know what, there's really no going back now to maybe the 9 to 5 or the whatever. Yeah. What was, I know you take a moment because it's a tough one, but what was that ultimate high where you thought, holy shit, I don't know what it is for myself, but what was yours where you thought, holy damn, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this is the way it is. How do I repeat this over and over and over again?
So you got it in a few things, right? You got one of them in wins, so that you get, there's a certain type of win that you get, you're like, wow.
But wait, I need one win. Yeah. I need one win from you in your life where you were just like, wow. Maybe there wasn't one, by all means, share.
So we got a recent win that was a fairly big one, and that was with a charity that we've been negotiating, not even sort of semi-negotiating for a while. It was on, it was off, it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off, and then we ended up getting a fairly decent budget to do it, a much bigger budget than we've got to do stuff for before. And it was like, oh wow, this is how I need to approach things. It's not how I've always been doing in the process. It's being able to look at things from a different angle, so where you can offer, you can think creatively. And I got it from young people, people your kind of age group, guys like Ben Francis, guys like Social Chain, what's his name again? Stephen Bart.
I ain't plugging him on my show. Sorry, Stephen Bart.
Yeah, no. And when I say, and it's not to say, oh, you know what? Hey, these are the time. No, it's the way the young people think. Older people can learn from them, and it's a problem that older people don't do that. There's this mentality that, oh, I'm older than you. Now you don't know, because you guys grew up knowing nothing but this, and so your mentality towards it, the way you think towards it, the way you just fluidly think to yourself, oh yeah, I'd do that way. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even think twice to even try doing something. Oh snap, I get it. Okay, cool, makes sense to me. So when I started to do that and adopt and speak to people who thought that way. So I started now thinking differently. And my first opportunity to experiment that different thought, I landed that big contract.
Wow.
So it was like, I get it. I get that my progressive learning has to remain the same. And it continued. And I learned as well that my personality type also fuels that, because I learn by actually interacting. I need to interact. That's my best, strongest learning function.
Yeah.
You can do it the other way, but I do it better that way. So ironically, when I go and interact with others who are younger, wiser in some ways in their area, very differently creative to me, think differently to me, oh my gosh, it adds. And now I understand and I think that way as well. Amazing. Which is brilliant. So that's one, I'd say, from a big win part. The reality that this is going to be my life and there is no other life now, was that I realized that the lifestyle that I'd taken on, having a full-time wife, having 2 children being at private school, living in a certain place. Oh my gosh, I have to make this amount of money every month. This stuff's just driving me crazy. You know, I wouldn't mind getting a job for a bit. Oh no, let me entertain the idea of getting a job. You look through, you realize that, oh my gosh, if you want to work for someone, out the gate, like, I ain't been working for anyone for years, been working for myself, so I'm really ambitious, so you might not want to keep me, but hey, I wouldn't mind working for you. If you pay me 90 grand, for example, you can't pay me to even sustain my lifestyle.
You're unemployable.
That was when I really officially understood that I'm now no longer employable.
Yeah.
So I have to do this on my own dime, there's no other choice. And it was such a free feeling. Because you now know the boats really are burnt.
Shit.
You have to rebuild them.
There's no going back, brother. Listen, on that bombshell,
man.
That's it, man. Thank you so much, Renaldo. Listen, if you've taken any value from what the big man Renaldo Edmondson has said, please go find him on social platforms. Go find him on Facebook. Connect with him on his personal profile, because you won't get any response anywhere else. Find this guy. He's got a lot of value to give. Work with him if you get the rare opportunity to do so. He's a very busy man, sorry. Comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree? You know, the UK is getting slammed in some of these episodes. Not slammed, but The UK is getting slammed. Wouldn't you agree a little bit? In one of the other episodes, complacent. The UK is a complacent economy and a complacent mindset. Over here, an introverted society. Do you agree? Is the UK an introverted society? Is it a complacent mindset? Are we too comfortable over here? Who knows? Let me know your comments. I'm going to reply to as many as I can. Thank you for watching. We are out of here.